Well, your storyteller's back, and today I want to deal with something that's very important. And very important to me because at my age, I've lived my life. I've lived through all the hard times, the good times. I've survived. My concern is I have a daughter who's in her early 40s, and she has to live with what becomes of the next election. So I'm going to explain to you something that all old warriors, old soldiers know. Particularly if you've gone through military training, gone through college training, and, for example, become a salesperson. Now, I did all that and I became a salesperson. In sales, if you really want to become a professional, there are what they call 13 basic closes. Now, if you really want to go to the next step, there's another 13. So there's really a total of 26. Give you an example of a close. There's one called the puppy dog close. You know how you sell a puppy dog? You let the people take him home for the weekend and they fall in love with him. It's where you sell Cadillacs. If you want to sell a Cadillac, you let them take him home for the weekend. Nobody wants to tell you, oh, I just took it back, because the community is really not buying that, right? There is the Ben Franklin close, where, first of all, you have to understand the questions and answer the questions in an order that a person thinks they're really answering the question. So maybe you put 10 issues on the page and you say, okay, we're going to do these 10, and you help them. You help them to conclude what these 10 issues are. But then when it comes time to come up with the negatives, they got to do it all by themselves. Makes it a little difficult. Now, one of the low-life closes is called back the hearse up to the door until they can smell the roses. And that is exactly what they've done to you with Hillary and Trump. They have basically given you the craziest, unethical, unreasonable person you can find at this time in Donald Trump. He's racist, he's misogynist, he's everything you don't want, and so your option is Hillary. Now, the way this close works is you're sitting with a family, the mother and father there, and you create this story. Well, last week, I'm really sorry because I met with this family and I tried to sell them this fantastic insurance policy and I failed. And you know how I failed? I failed because they didn't buy it. And then when they didn't buy it, a couple of days ago, the father was in an auto accident. And he was killed in that auto accident. And now I go back and I look at that wife and her children, and they have nothing because I failed. And if you can't see the correlation between Donald Trump, as crazy and nutty as he is, the other side is, if you don't vote properly, you're going to get Donald Trump compared to Hillary Clinton. Go back and ask yourself what the Clintons have done for us. They put more people in prison. Most people don't understand. I was reading maybe 3 decades ago a book by a guy named Morris Berman. The book was titled Dark Ages America. And a huge portion of that book was about the overturn of Glass-Steagall, which protected us in the United States for 70 years. Bill Clinton overturned Glass-Steagall with all the warnings he had. And if you really look at it, our nation lost $90 trillion. None of those dollars came back into the United States. Those dollars went to the 13 families that control Hillary and Bill and want you to believe Donald Trump. Of course, I believe it too. Donald Trump's a jerk. He's totally immoral. The option is the Clintons, who are smart and immoral. They are, in sales, what you would call back the hearse up to the door until you smell the roses.